Hey, love bugs, come on over, baby. Come on over, love bugs. Hey, love bugs, what's up? I hope you're having a good morning, noon, night, whenever this video may reach you. Do your girl a favor and hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell so you can get that thing whenever I upload a new video. So today, we are going to be talking about Derrick Cheater Jaxn. Ironically enough, so we all know, his wife came out a couple months back and she did a podcast. She broke her silence. Well, I mean, old girl be preaching to anybody who will listen or over on her Instagram page, with all types of scriptures and putting all types of hexes and everything on the people. And she seemed way more sane than I deemed her to be when I watched the interview that she did with the Dear Wifey podcast. I just wish that he was a better interviewer because it seemed like I'm not exactly sure of the guy's name, but we're about to watch this episode that he did with Derrick Jaxn himself. He laughed a lot of things off, but I feel like he was trying to do comic relief to make it lighter, and so that she would feel a little more comfortable disclosing and discussing things that are like hard topics to tackle when it comes to her divorce and how messy it's been and how, the whole Bonnet Chronicles, Bonnet of Salvation, and all of the things that she's been through and the public scrutiny that she had to go through because of her husband being an adult. It just is what it is. And she didn't necessarily ask for the spotlight. So, I mean, I got it, but it's just like he was laughing things off. Like he wasn't really getting to the nitty gritty. Like he himself seemed to be a self-proclaimed bandit, scrubbed the ground. So I don't know. It seemed like he was relating to Derrick more so during that interview, and he kind of saw himself in what she was talking about, if that makes sense. I just wish he was a little more serious. Like he just was laughing, key and a cut. Like it just I don't know. I guess she felt safe to go over there with him and give her tell all. It did numbers. A lot of the clips went viral. We discussed it over here, and now I have not seen the interview that he did with Derrick Jaxn. I did see a snippet on the Shade Room, so we're gonna basically watch it together. It is long. I don't plan on being up here watching the whole thing in its entirety. I don't have any notes, so I wouldn't even know where to skip to. I'm just gonna tell y'all the truth. So is y'all ready? Do y'all have something to drink? Do y'all have a snack? Like, if you need to grab a snack and come on back, you got 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2. No, I'm joking. But seriously, y'all. All right, roll call. Hey, DH. Hey, Janetta, welcome back, babe. Hey, Trina. Hey, Chantel. Kimberly. I don't know how to pronounce this. I'm just going to say Kuchin. Are you German? Hey, Phoenicia. Media New Post. PJ. Okay, so we're going to head on over to another side of this. This is the YouTube streets. Y'all got to excuse me. I've been up here back to back, so I'm a little like off my rocker a little bit. Just bear with me. Bear with me. Hey, Erica. Okay, so shouts out to Dear Future Wifey Pod.
I have actually been a customer.
Okay. Oh wait, no, it went back. That wasn't supposed to happen. Okay, so Derrick Jaxn says he's reaping what he sowed.
Listen, if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, wherever you consume your audio podcasts, make sure that you rate this video and leave a comment. That's how people hear about us. Thank y'all so much for making the Dear Future Wifey podcast consistently top 10 in relationships on Apple Podcasts. I thank y'all so much. Today's episode, as we talk about tough topics in season 7, this is a person y'all been wanting to have on the podcast. This brother needs no introduction. We're going to jump right on into it. This will be a 2-part series. I'll run both of them consecutively one day after the next. So without sides,
of a story, you know, and one day whenever my children do see mommy and daddy talking about this, I want them to see where we both stand and hopefully how we both resolve things. So that was it, man.
You say mommy and daddy. So your ex-wife or current wife, I know y'all going through whatever y'all going through, Danae was on the podcast. A lot of times people, when I did the episode, I was laughing a lot on the episode. She has this funny wit. She has this, I said this little Seinfeld humor.
Yeah.
Was that something that attracted?
I'm saying she had a Seinfeld humor. I mean, she did. She was witty. I will give her that. But I feel like he kind of like played into it a little too much, like when they were talking about serious topics.
You to her at the very beginning?
Yeah, she had a sense of humor since the beginning, man. You wouldn't think it because she's kind of an introvert.
Right.
So she doesn't feel comfortable talking to new people often, at least she didn't, or in big groups. But like once she gets comfortable or when she feels like she can trust you, she opens up and she's hilarious.
and so that's what happened in my pre-interview with her. I was talking to her. I was like, this girl is hilarious. This girl is funny. So we did on the episode, a lot of people's like, they're talking about serious stuff and they're laughing about it. Why are they? And she was like, Lateris, if you weren't laughing, I wouldn't have been able to do 2.5 hours of an interview with you. It'd have been too heavy.
Okay, so that kind of basically was what I was saying. Like he was giving comic relief because of the seriousness of the things that they were talking about. Okay.
I like the fact that you got my humor. And I said, I bet you that's something that Derrick found attractive in her at the very beginning.
Among other things, man. Yeah. For sure.
We say other things like what?
Man, first off, when I first saw her, all I knew was what she looked like. You know? So pretty face, nice shape, all that stuff. But I like that she was kind of like me in terms of like when you look at her, she's not the stereotypical thick, cute black girl. At least, you know, this at 19 years old.
Right.
And when people looked at me, they felt like, oh, you know, he's a jock. And, you know, I think you said that in the interview, matter of fact, which is not bad. But, you know, at the time I was fighting a lot and stuff like that. But
you said you were fighting a lot?
Yeah, man. I was just, you know, knucklehead, man. It's 19 years old. But beyond the surface, though, you know, I'm a lover. I'm kind of soft. I like R&B music. I read romance novels at this point. I write poetry.
You was doing that at 19?
19 years old, man. So, like, that version of me that's like, okay, it's not what you see is not necessarily what you get. It's the exact same thing with her. You know, she's not.
Are you guys okay with me just playing the audio? Because I don't, like, I'll go in and out from, like, the visual, but I don't want to just play the straight visual all the way through and get a strike because I don't know. So we gonna switch back and forth between seeing a little bit of visual, but it's gonna be mostly me playing some of the audio. Y'all okay with that? All right, now, Chad.
It's not stereotypical like Taekwondo and, you know, Justin Timberlake and stuff you wouldn't necessarily think, man. But all of that is what drew me to her. It's like my authentic self just felt safe and at home with her.
How do you feel today? I want to check on you as a man. How do you feel as a man?
I feel really good, man. Better every day, but I feel like it's a lot of gratitude these days.
A lot of people wouldn't be able to identify with what you may go through on an emotional standpoint, especially have created a platform as large as you created, and then feel the world turn on you. How did you internalize that?
Honestly, man, being everybody's favorite ain't really been my portion my whole career. I mean, at some point, I mean, now it's more legitimate because it's behind something I actually did. But in the very beginning, I knew Pete.
Oh, so he basically saying he all right with people ripping him to shreds. I don't believe that because if he was okay with that, he wouldn't have had that lady up there with them chapped lips, that oversized lengthy ass shirt, and that goddamn bonnet of salvation. He would not have had her out there looking crazy. He would at least waited for her to get herself, you know, looking together and presentable because he knows how the internet is. That's why he's up here looking presentable today. He knows how the interview is. He needed to get it out a statement. He needed to get, you know, her showing like they're standing together immediately once those cheating allegations came out. So he does care. It's the Capiana for me.
Pissing some people, I'm trying to talk crazy. Pissing some people off was going to be a price I was going to have to pay.
You knew that at the very beginning.
Very beginning. And then, you know, before all of this, there was some like false rumors. At one point, people thought Danae was white because I showed a picture briefly. I posted my baby girl, my first daughter, Marley, and her hand was wrapped around my finger and it was so light skinned. They said, oh, he only dates white women. And I lost followers. I'm talking about it was going viral, all the YouTubers. So honestly, man, since then, I already knew, like, okay, people online.
Yeah, that's because nobody even knew that you was married. You was out here like you was the world's most eligible bachelor. You knew what she was doing. Talking about, oh, they thought I only date white women. Oh, bye.
And they're going to have their thoughts or what have you, and you can't see yourself through that lens. So I really haven't internalized that so much.
A lot of times people, I saw my brother, Willie Moore Jr., he posted a snippet of you about the interview that you were doing with him. That's when this dropped, that would have dropped 3 days ago. And I read the comments. It was like, why are you giving this brother a platform? Why would you do this? And all this type of stuff.
Yeah.
And first, when I read it, I was like, now if I do this interview with them, are they gonna feel the same way? I was like, no, like you said, it's a more balanced approach. I had Danae on here. It's only fair to have you on here as well. But not even on that. But even in 2020, you checked the DMs. I reached out to you before all this stuff started imploding.
One of the few.
Yeah. And I reached out to you because I always want to have conversations with Black men, because in the from your platform standpoint, the stuff that you were telling and helping Black women with was facts. It was no lies told.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was telling y'all to stay away from scrub the ground ninjas like him. Duh, takes one to know one.
But a lot of men took gripe about is that they like, oh, not only are you telling the secrets or whatever, but they kind of felt like you were pandering to Black women for your benefit.
And he absolutely was. Everybody panders. It's either pander to Black women or tear Black women down, and you will have a platform just as quick as your head could spin.
What would you say about that?
Well, we kind of have this bro code, and it's got us in the chokehold. You know, and the bro code is all about having a man's side no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter if we wrong or what have you. And I think personally it's created a generation of coddled men that can't take correction from anybody, no matter how soft it is or balanced it is. So when I'm saying all of this, you know, of course, there's different layers to it. Some of them think, oh, it's because he wants vagina, because he wants money or what have you. But man, I was raised by a single mother around 2 sisters. Naturally, I lean towards the woman's point of view on things. Anything else would be disingenuous. And it's not that everything that I'm saying is necessarily right, but it's how I see things. And then if you take from that, just say, you know, your interview with Danae, you were speaking in a way that was protective as her brother, you know, empathetic. You was calling wrong. That wasn't you pandering.
Right.
You know, you like per the situation that you speaking on, this is the truth.
Right.
But whenever you telling the truth, that makes. So my daddy just got in a lot of trouble. You know, my mama and daddy was in their early 30s, about my age now. So he's from Jamaica. He had got into some trouble.
Oh, he's Jamaican. Nah, but y'all already know them Caribbean men. They be hot in the pants. There's a lot of heat in the groin area with these Caribbean men, y'all. Y'all already know.
Deported very early on. Actually, when I was 4 years old, but he wasn't in my life since probably age 1. So my mama, coming from somewhat of a background that she didn't want us to be a part of, she moved down to Alabama. Me, my 2 sisters, and actually my older brother, but he was so much older, he moved out pretty quickly. And man, I just grew up. It wasn't objectively bad, but the story I created from the dynamic of not only daddy not being there and not having answers, but my mama working 2 to 3 jobs year round, I just felt invisible, you know, because like, again, I was really living with my 2 sisters. And they connected to each other a lot better than they did me. Yeah. Everybody loved me.
Okay, so basically he grew up in a single mother household. I do remember hearing him say that once he became a teenager, like 14 or 15, his mom got remarried. But for the most part, he, you know, people always said that he was a bad kid. And I guess they're trying to set it up to basically make it seem like this is why he couldn't keep it in his pants or why he was a cheater from, you know, wherever, because he had mommy issues. I don't know. I'm trying to like, child.
Me to be real with you, my mama loved me and they loved me. But then when mama get home from work, she need time just to be a human being. She got her own battles. So as she's trying to give herself, she's really stretched thin. And then on top of that, again, she barely connects with me. I'm missing my daddy. So a lot of my childhood, man, was just feeling invisible, feeling somewhat abandoned. Even though objectively that wasn't what was going on, that was a story I had created. And then I acted out to get a lot of attention.
How'd you?
Oh, so he's an attention whore. He's an attention-seeking whore. And now that he has grown up, he got some fame, he got some clout, it got to his head. He had access to all types of women. He lacked discipline, and that's just the way it goes.
You act out.
school. I was the knucklehead that made it really hard to find a.
Pornography shapes the viewpoint of how men see or objectify women.
Yeah.
And I had a conversation with, even my sons, you know what I'm saying? They be online, they'll end up something to pop up on these gaming stuff. And I was like, hey, this is why you shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
No one ever had that conversation with me as a young man. And I had a family member that had magazines, and I seen them a couple of times when I was like 12, but I just never did like get involved in it. So my question to you is, how did that shape, when you look back, hindsight being 2020, how did that shape your viewpoint on women?
Well, what my therapist taught me was that it actually just created a toxic relationship with sex, period. It became kind of an escape, something to immediately distract me, make me feel less rejected if I ever felt that. So, starting there, of course, it rewires your brain. It desensitizes you and stuff like that. It also miseducates you on what real intimacy is. So it took me well into my adulthood, actually until, I was married, to understand that it's not about performance-based, whenever you're having sex with a woman, it's connection-based. So I went, even having sex in the earliest years, it was about, the theatrics of what I could perform and so on and so forth, man. But especially if there's serious feelings involved, you may leave a woman feeling like a piece of meat when she can tell you wasn't even there with her.
Right.
So not only that, in the times where I wasn't having sex, again, that was my easy out. Like, okay, I know I got porn, I got this, that, and the other. And I wasn't on there like 4 hours a day or nothing like that. But I developed some nasty habits of when.
So he's blaming it on adult content. That's what they always do. These are the same talking points. I have an addiction. My daddy wasn't there. My mama had to work. So I grew up to be a low down, scrub the ground.
When I'm really, really stressed or hurt or grieving or whatever, I can do this and then go to sleep. Or I can do this to get my mind. I can break the pattern by doing this. So that was pretty much it, man.
You're in college. You go to college. How did you meet Danae?
Math class. She walked in. Then she had on a black colored button up with black slacks. Pretty face, slanted eyes, nice curves. Honestly, it was all physical when I first looked at her. And then I saw her notebook and I saw that she was into music. And I was like, oh, I thought she was like a bottle girl or something like that. You know what I'm saying? No, I was like, I saw the saxophone and stuff like that. So I asked about it. And she had a really soft voice, somewhat of an innocence about her. And we got to talking. I got a number.
Hey guys, we got to misspell derogatory terms. So instead of putting P-O-R-N, put P-R like prawn or corn. We got to misspell cuss words. Y'all already know how we do it over here.
She didn't immediately answer later on whenever I called. I think I called 3 times. So she don't answer this time. She answered on the last ring. And from there, man, we talked through the night. We did all of the stuff that we think about in high school and college, like on the phone overnight. We were inseparable, man, for like that first 2 months. Just again, people looked at me a certain way, and I was misunderstood. But with her, even being goofy and bubbly, like my personality is naturally I'm usually the jokester.
Okay.
So between that and I had an interest that most guys would think is soft. Again, I love Terry McMillan and Air Jerome Dickey books. I love R&B. I work out to R&B to this day.
So
you know what I'm saying? On the way home from football games, I was writing poetry. Coincidentally, Dear Future Wife post, man, back in the day. You can
really?
You can search on Twitter right now, put in hashtag Dear Future Wife and Derrick Jaxn. You'll see from 2010. I was on. So all of that soft stuff, she didn't judge me for, though. She loved it. She loved my poetry. She wrote poetry. And one time.
Men swear that women want a thug. The average woman does not want a thug guy with a teardrop tattoo underneath the left side of his face, under his eye. Women love men that listen to R&B and write poetry and write love songs and love letters. We love that. We like a balance. Don't get me wrong. We do like a balance. But come on, ain't you handsome? Get out of here. You know what you're doing. She didn't judge me. Ain't no woman gonna judge you. You a star college football player with a soft side. Boy, bye.
This is when I knew it. Like, oh, this is the one right here. I told her when I was younger, we loved peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Didn't know that's how mama was making that money stretch, but I loved it. It was a delicacy to me.
You better talk about it.
She, before practice one day, she was like, I need to see you. I was like, okay, for football practice. And she ran up to me with 2 sandwiches, one with white bread, one with wheat bread, and said, I didn't know which one you was going to like, but I know you like PB&J.
Really?
I I called my mama on the way to practice. I said, Mama, I found the one. Go on, get your dress ready. It's going down. This is at 19 years old, man. So we could joke.
She
we was
had
on
him at
Skype.
peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Man, look, a sense of humor. Of course, she was sexy and all that stuff, but
She started off tutoring you, right? She said something about tutoring you.
That was a segue. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure out how to get close to her at first.
Oh, so you used that?
I used it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I used it. I need help. Now, I did, but that wasn't the reason why I chose her as my tutor. They had other tutors, you know what I'm saying? One girl, she had like a pimple by nose and stuff like that. I was cool on that. I want this one right here.
I want this one.
And so, yeah, man, we continue to connect and talk and be inseparable.
But notice how, like, she had to be of service and useful to him in order for him to be like, oh, this is the one right here. Like,
you know, it didn't take long at all. I think within like a week and a half, 2 weeks, we were inseparable, holding hands everywhere, went on dates. I ain't even had no money for a date. I ain't had no money to pay for my own food on the date. So
she was paying for the dates. You see? Look at that. How you ain't have no money for a date, but y'all was going on dates. So obviously she was footing the bill. Okay. See, she left all of that out. She can tell us all of this.
And the first night that I asked her, I think it was on Valentine's Day of 2020, I asked her if she would be my girl. We went on a bowling date.
Not 2020.
No, not 2020.
Yeah.
Shoot, 2009. That year is so crazy to me.
Yeah.
2009, February 14, 2009. I asked her to be my girl after a bowling date. She said, yeah. Then I asked her to come with me down to the lake so we could pray over our relationship. It's the first time.
Hold on. At 19, you talking about you praying with us?
I was actually
I bet my bottom dollar they did not only go down to the lake to pray. Good night, Mr. Derrick Jaxn. I'm trying to get to the part where he texted her he wanted a divorce. Like, this is going on. We gonna have to just see
of how I internalized my father's loss. I had so much meaning I put to it. There's context here. So I come up behind her and hug on her, kind of aggressive. But that would make her really, really shut down. And I didn't know what was going on. I felt rejected. Like, why you don't want to kiss me? Will my breath stink or something like that? So we would have, and not only would she shut down, then it would be tension. It would be almost hostile. So again, this wasn't until about a month and a half, 2 months in, where it was like, now it's back-to-back things. Now I come up on the kiss her and she like kind of pushing away. She can't stay far enough away from me. She's kind of mean towards me. And it's kind of a flip side. And I didn't know part of what I was feeling didn't have nothing to do with the relationship. It was much deeper. But I remember like, man, my breath getting short. I'm like, what is going on? Like, I ain't never been so sensitive to rejection because we all get rejected. But this is the first time I felt that. And what felt safer was to go out and at least have friendships with other girls. Just the conversation.
Oh, so it's her fault. Oh, because she felt, all right. It's her fault. She opened the door because he felt rejection because she tensed up one time when he was coming up to hug her, because I guess she was still going through her trauma. But this man been outside before that even happened. It's giving blame the woman. That's what it's giving deflect. Yeah.
Felt like receptiveness, like acceptance again. Mm-hmm. But those loose boundaries turned into no boundaries. So, if we continued to clash and she continued to pull away or what have you, and I'm not getting no answers or whatever, especially in my prideful state, I'm thinking, man, she got me effed up. So I'm over here doing the right thing and she over here acting like I ain't nothing. So now there's a party tonight or there's a girl on campus and then she got her own.
Lying. I think he is lying like a Persian rug. This girl worshiped the ground that he walked on. There's no way. I don't believe him. I don't believe this. It could just be me, but I don't believe him.
Own dorm room.
Capiana. I need me a baseball cap because this is Cap.
And that's whenever I started messing around.
Which is interesting. Now I realize something. You were trying to be on the straight and narrow and that aggressive personality that you had, because she told me, or told us on the podcast, that she had experienced a rape 2 weeks before y'all met.
Oh God!
Yeah, so she
gotta be using all of these like words. Dang, y'all! I'm trying to be up in the algorithm. Gee.
And you didn't know nothing about.
I didn't know about that till 5 years later.
Exactly.
I don't know if she wants to speak on it, so I won't go in depth. But there was another instance of rape.
Oh God.
In that same 30-day span before she met me. So I didn't know to the level or at all that I was dealing with a rape survivor.
Oh, Lord. We got to keep using this word. Hold up.
She meets this guy who she says she just loved the mess. She loved your dirty draws. You're wanting to show your affection. You grabbing her by her neck. You being aggressive physically, from a sexual standpoint. She's getting nervous. She's getting triggered on all levels. Don't even realize that she's being triggered like this. She's closing up rejection to you because you've experienced that growing up. Mom no longer is kissing you and tucking you in bed at night. Rejection. So now you're like, well, now I'm going to go self-medicate. I have this history of looking at porn, and now.
Okay, are they kidding me? Are they fucking kidding? So they lining it up. They laying the groundwork to basically say that Derrick cheated Jaxn. Cheated on his wife because of his mother. Because his mother had to work. She was a single mother. So his sisters mostly babysat him. His dad got deported to Jamaica. And because Danae had experienced trauma and she didn't like to be roughhoused. So that made him feel rejected, the rejection that he felt when he was a child. And it led him to, he had the porn addiction. And then ultimately he went out and was dicking and dodging. Y'all, really? It's her fault and his mama fault. No accountability. Y'all see how that goes? Y'all see how that goes? Jeez Louises.
The way I self-medicate is watching this. So now I'm going to do the outward extension of that.
Yeah.
Now I'm over here hanging out with girls. One thing leads to another. Now you over here smashing. Now it's triggering her. How did she ever find out when you first cheated on her?
Well, we were both triggering each other and didn't know it. Right. I was triggering her with my affection. She was triggering me by pushing away. I didn't just continuously, because I had this weird thing, man, where I would do it and feel guilty.
Would you tell?
Man, I'm tripping. No, heck no.
Okay.
No. So I would do it and be like, oh man, all right, you messed up, you did your thing. Again, but we kids at this point. We're 19,
so would the
20
girls
years
be
old.
running back to her?
Nah, they didn't do that either. I don't even know if those particular girls knew we were together.
You walked around holding hands on campus?
Not all of them was on campus. Not all of them was on campus.
Yeah,
we talking? I'm trying to dig back because this is 15 years ago.
A long time ago.
But I remember. I don't know how she knew. I don't think the original one or two or whatever she knew about, but I know we had a falling out because her and her friend, she suspected or something. Her and her friend used to have this thing on Facebook called Honesty Box. And it was where basically you send anonymous messages or whatever. So her and her friend had set up to send me anonymous messages to try to see if I would bite on the bait of another girl trying to flirt with me or something like that. I would have this, and it's again pattern. I'm cheating, now I'm faithful. Now I'm cheating, now I'm faithful. So in this point, I was faithful.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, no more girls. I felt terrible. That ain't it. We done made up or something like. Somehow we get to talking and we back in love again. So this honesty box message is coming in. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Nah, I got a girl. And then I'm hearing ding in the other room. We got a apartment here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I sent another message, ding, went into the room, her inboxes, and I'm like, oh. So we fell out. She suspected me of cheating at that point, but she wasn't right about that.
Yeah.
And then from there, man, it was kind of all downhill because we got into a really bad argument and, all this other stuff.
Well, she said that in the times where she would catch you back in college, she would never tell you anyway. She would go in the closet and cry, and then you'd come be like, hey, everything cool? And she'd be like, yeah, everything fine.
Well, that was
she'll say, it's my dad. I'm grieving the loss of my dad.
Yeah, that was a communication style, period. Without cheating, I may say something that offended her. I learned later on in therapy with her that sometimes my facial expressions while I'm listening would trigger her because I think her dad or something like had that going on. So a million things could be wrong with her, but then again, this dynamic of I'm begging for her to tell me what's wrong, and she don't. And I could take rejection maybe 1 or 2 days, but after 2 or 3 weeks.
I don't think he asked or begged her to tell him what was wrong. I think he is lying through his teeth. He did not care. He didn't. She said I would wait for him to come and ask me, and sometimes he never would even notice me. Sometimes he never would even notice that anything was wrong. If you are in tune with somebody and you're connected with somebody and you love them, you could feel their energy. You did not care about Danae's feelings. So stop lying, trying to make it seem like you was begging for a day or two and she wouldn't open up, so you just went and started dicking and dodging. Just admit that maybe you have issues with self-control, you lack discipline, sexual discipline, like a lot of men, but yet they try to chalk it up to it's a woman's fault. Men can't be monogamous, men can't do this. No, you just don't have discipline. And it is what it is.
Weeks or 2 or 3 months, now I'm starting to check out and detach without actually leaving. So it wasn't just the cheating that she wasn't talking about. She literally, if she had an issue, she held it in until she blew up.
She said that. She said she held something in for like 10 years and then blew
up. A lot of stuff, man. It wasn't just that. It was a constant thing of, communication is key, but you're not communicating. And so I'm over here begging, trying. Because sometimes I'll be doing stuff and I wouldn't know it was bothering her. So for instance, I was kind of a flirt. So I would say, hey, beautiful or whatever to a girl, think nothing of it. But then she would hear that and be like, you call me beautiful. So understandably, she's offended.
I mean, what woman wants to admit? That's why I can't stand a friendly ass ninja. I cannot stand a friendly ninja. I can't. I don't want to ever do that again. You too friendly. You all up in everybody's face, calling them beautiful, telling everybody how gorgeous they is. It's giving you need too much attention. You're looking thirsty. I don't like that.
And she's upset, like, what, you tripping, like, don't play with me like that. But she don't say anything. So she wasn't vocal, but she was expressive.
Misspell derogatory terms, y'all. So if y'all gonna say, whatever, just misspell it.
Because it ain't like she just didn't talk. She showed that she was upset, but it was with, again, rejection, hostility, name calling, walking off middle of conversation. And that go on for weeks up until I pull away. Then she gets suspicious. One pattern over the next for the next however many years.
So when y'all graduated graduated college, what was the state of y'all relationship? Y'all still
we had
together?
just broken up. So I found out about her and a gentleman. I think she mentioned on the last podcast.
She said that she was trying to get you jealous or make you jealous about a coworker that she said we created this thing to make it look like this is somebody I was dating to make you jealous, but
he knew she was not sleeping with nobody else. Like, this make me mad because these men be knowing that they got a woman wrapped around their finger and that she's not going to go anywhere. You play your cards right. You handle her the way that she needs to be handled. You give her the love and security that she needs. She's not really going nowhere. He knew. He just did not care. He did not care.
We remember that differently. If I pick that cup up and I pour with the contents in my mouth and I swallow, did I make it look like I was drinking? So we've always differed on this, by the way. So I'm not trying to just stir nothing up. No. So I had a nonprofit when I was in college. I wanted to tutor and mentor all this other stuff. So one hug, she's in the shower. I go right up in there, and while she's in the shower, she's wet. And she's like, I'm like, what's up, baby? Kissed her, came on out, and the phone is on the counter with the messages up. And he's like, is he home? Can I slide? And I'm looking real quick and I see the name. She jumped out wet, snatched the phone, and I was like, oh boy. Went to the living room. I searched the name on Facebook, saw some stuff. And I was like, that's the guy that she was talking. So long story short, man, that was a big blow up and we broke up. And then years.
To be fair, they were in college. When you're a kid, you do stupid stuff. You don't care about consequence. So I'm really not holding him to all of this. That's why I keep trying to fast forward because I want to get to like more present day. Like, what you did when you was 19, 20, like we can't go back. You was a kid. You weren't married. You were nowhere near ready to settle down. Okay. But as a grown man in your 30s, sir, like, come on. I want to get to what you was doing now. I don't need to hear all this backstory foundational BS. Come on.
Years later, I had heard from some people he was around about what actually took place. And after we broke up, she had went and stayed the night and they did whatever they did. And it wasn't until we were married because we had this thing where, hey, tell every sexual experience you've ever had.
Yeah. Where
we were married. And she finally, after he done died a couple months earlier, said what all had actually transpired.
So she admitted to it.
Well, she did. She said, well, she didn't have sex while we were together, but it was afterwards. Me, I'm like, it pales in comparison to what I did. I am not going to get mad. Like, let's just keep it all the way G so we can sweep this away and get on to the next chapter. But we had the direct answers. We broke up. We broke up because of that. Her and whoever, I didn't care. I moved on, did my thing. but we stayed in touch. And when she moved where she moved to, we kind of reconnected sexually.
She said that at that point, but first of all, let's go back to her personality, which is interesting because I've come to find out that Naya said she used to be a fighter. She used to swing on people. She said somebody came to the job one day, she done fought people. She
I didn't know that part of her, but I mean, she's spoken of being willing to, but I didn't know that part of her.
Yeah, she said she was known to.
Time she needed me, she ain't had no furniture, I would help. If she needed to do this, I would help. That was kind of how we, how we did things, but we were still sexually engaging whenever I did come.
Would that be defined in today's standards as a situation?
So basically, they had a situationship. Oh, that's what he was about to say.
It's fair to say.
Or just somebody I'm just smashing because a situationship is more so as it's understood that we're exclusive with each other, but we don't have the title. This sounds like more of, I understand you got other people you messing with and vice versa, but we'll hook up.
I would say after probably the first year when we kind of really started up with, I'm coming in, I'm operating as a boyfriend or she's operating as a girlfriend, daily calls and texts and check-ins and stuff like that, but still undefined.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's fair to say situationship. Either way, it was a blur line mess.
And when y'all got ready to move to Atlanta, was that a conversation that y'all had that y'all were going to move together?
First, she was going to come up to where I was at in North Carolina. My whole goal was to get down to Atlanta. My whole life goal was to get down there and driving distance to my mom and them.
Where your mom live in Atlanta?
Alabama. So she's like a four-hour drive away. So I never had plans of staying too far away. I always wanted to be close with family. But yeah, we had that conversation. Like at some point, especially as we get back together, we're going to be down in Atlanta together.
So when at the birth of, at what stage and age?
Liking the page and so on and so forth. I ain't know nothing about it.
Yeah.
But I was just speaking my piece on whatever I felt was true. But then that became too heavy. It was like, it's so dark and it induces this helplessness. And I don't know how people do it now where they get up and talk about that every day. It's not that it's not important. But anyway, I was just like, I kind of want to stick to just the lovey-dovey stuff, man. So I kept posting my poetry and, dear future, why, and all that stuff. But people, like now I got like 75, 85,000 people are looking at my page. And now what they see is at least relationship conversation. And so then they would ask questions. And that's whenever, I don't even know what year that was. That had to be about closing on 2013 sometime. And I wasn't trying to give like this expert point of view. I was just more like big brother. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, this is what it is. I'm not no knight in white shining armor, but this is the truth on what you're talking about. And so they begin curating more of the conversation now, the DMs, the comments and stuff like that. And little by little, they started going viral.
And so you were intentional enough to say, let me leave this other stuff alone and then focus my energy on love and relationships.
Yeah, I honestly, bro, just like everybody else get on social media to post whatever's important to them. That's what I did. The only difference is my voice started resonating, relating to people. And I think I was probably a bit more bold than most.
What was the style? Were you doing it? Was you on a cell phone like you've become known for? Or did you have cameras? Like what were you doing during that time?
It was written at first. It was all written. Everything was written up until 2014, 2015.
And Danae was helping him write, and we better know it because she's a good writer.
I was a romance novelist. The first couple of books were Cheating Man's Heart 1 and 2, inspired by, I'm sure it's a huge surprise. And then from there, I wrote poetry because, again, I'm just staying true. Some people were trying to push me into expert land. I'm like, y'all don't know. I just effed up everything. I ain't the one. But outside of my inner circle, I got a lot of feedback. That really kind of got with the videos, the comments and all that kind of stuff. Oh, man. But it's just like, bro, true is true. Like, again, like you just think yourself back in the worst of your decisions, whatever they may be. If your female cousin, auntie, mama, sister come and ask you a question, I want to say Tony Gaskin was one of the ones. And then a brother by the name of Stefan Speaks.
Oh, yeah.
They had a thing going on. And I still didn't know their business. So, I didn't know this as a profession. But that was the feedback. But then guys that actually talk to me in real life, we always left the conversation, them understanding what I'm saying in full context. So if a woman asks you a question, you're going to speak to that context. Yep. But of course, it's a larger conversation in both sides of the coin.
And when did you start knowing that, when did it click? This can be monetized. Did it happen from your first booking that happened? Somebody said, hey, we want you to come speak at this women's thing about this. You're like, wow, I can get paid for this. How much I charge? $500? What I charge?
Yeah.
What was the first thing that made you say I could get paid for doing what I love doing?
First off, I published my first book, 2013. It was a romance novel, though. There wasn't no advice, 2014. Truth. I'm not going to be a sellout. And a lot of times the brands would be like, oh, well, you got to take this video down, especially about the black stuff, pro-black stuff. And I'm like, I'm not taking anything down.
Yep.
If I say I love even black women, if I say I love black women, I'm adoring black women, I'm sorry to those whites and non-blacks that get offended, but this is how I feel. So I stopped doing brand deals, and that's why I really learned business so I could be independent with my voice too.
That's real. And so then what initiated the move to Atlanta? You wanted to get closer to your mom, 4 hours drive, but we still gonna be smashing, meeting up to smash. How long did that season last?
Maybe about a year. I would say this was in, I think it was like the second half.
So they was friends with benefits for a year. And then I believe this is when she got pregnant. I feel like part 2 is really where we're going to get into the nitty gritty of the bonnet of salvation and everything like that. I'm not trying to watch this whole goddamn video, y'all. I'm trying to, fast forward to see what we could get some.
Messed up for the girls I had passing each other. I really was in savage mode.
Oh, so he's admitting to, remember when she said that she would pass girls like coming out of the house and they would be like, oh, well, it's your turn now. Like, this really was his life. At least he being honest. That's why you cannot knock a person for their honesty. At least he's telling us he was a savage and he was a scrub the ground ass ninja. At least he being keeping it real.
And then I think 1 or 2 times the nail would see like some condom wrappers or something like that. And I'm like, even though we're not together, she may be doing her thing. We know our history and we know the feelings that we got for each other. And especially whenever she got pregnant. We conceived Marley, I think New Year's Eve or what have you, and going into 2016. And, we continued engaging sexually, but she's pregnant now. And then I was still out here doing my thing with whoever, whenever I felt like it, because we were not together,
right?
And it was well understood. But again, that's kind of whenever she found out through the videos and stuff like that. Now, how she told me she found out, I'm not sure exactly if this is it, but she went and got a new phone. It was logged into my Google Cloud because we had been logged into each other's email, and that allowed her to see everything. And I'm like, again, I'm kind of freaky. So I was recording a lot of stuff. I was just recording a lot of stuff. I like to see it or whatever. I like that better than porn, TMI. But
you say you like to see yourself.
I like to see myself. I'm inspired by me in that regard. So she saw all of that. And regardless of how she found it, man, I just was like, it's like, what the F am I thinking? She's pregnant and she had to see that. Single or not, she's pregnant and she had to see that.
Let me ask you this, because this is something that she said on the podcast or before, whatever. She's been pregnant by you multiple times and didn't conceive, right?
Yeah. We didn't carry.
Right, it didn't carry. And so when you had Marley, that's the first child?
That was the first time we actually had. We had gotten pregnant prior to that in North Carolina, but she miscarried. And then before that were abortions.
Definitely.
Dang. So he just put it out there, like, but she did say that, but she didn't specify how many. And he really didn't just specify how many either, but dang. The things that women go through at the hands of loving a man, it's just so sad and it's disheartening, because I know she wanted to be with him, but she just settled for a situationship because at least if she couldn't have all of him, she settled for having a piece of him. And this is where we get it fucked up. If a man shows you who he are, believe him. Believe him. You cannot change a man. He might assimilate a little bit. You might get a ring, but that'd be a shut up ring. That'd be, oh, here, bitch. Damn, shut the fuck up. Leave me alone. That's what that be. That don't be done out of love when you got to go through all of this. You got to go through the gauntlet. And melanin-rich women, we are like bred and socialized to believe that we have to really get it through the mud and ride and die and let a man play in our face and disrespect us and cuss us like a dog in the street and talk about us crazy and talk to us crazy. And we got to stick around all to prove that we're worthy of his love, that we're worthy to get a shut up bitch ring, that we're worthy to, man.
I have my condolences, totally. And so what made you decide, or y'all decide, to give birth to Marley?
Well, earlier in our years, we were just kids and we felt like we're being irresponsible if we bring them in, really thinking of ourselves at that time, not thinking about, the God factor or anything like that. So by the time we got to North Carolina, it did take a toll on her, even those experiences. And, for me, my whole stance was, even though we created this together, it's your body that has to carry it. So whatever you want, I'm on. And in North Carolina, we wanted it, but she miscarried. So when Marley came about, it was like, oh, it's game time if we can actually carry. It really wasn't even much of a discussion. The moment we weren't boyfriend and girlfriend, but the moment she let me know, I told her, you ain't got to do this alone. Like, I hope you know I'm all in. And I was. Every doctor's visit, I didn't miss one. I told her she didn't have to work and I was going to take on every bill, and I did. So she didn't work from that point until all the way, honestly, until we divorced, or I filed for divorce. But that was my whole mindset.
You said all in was we're in a relationship at this point? Or
no, when I mean all in, I was still not thinking we could.
See, I respect this. I respect him for saying, like, it's her body. Whatever she decides to do, I'm going to be here. Sometimes you just got to accept the fact that you just supposed to co-parent. And that's okay too. But he gave her a shut up bitch ring. And that's why it blew up in her face the way that it did.
Work in a relationship. I also had
to be a present father.
I'm absolutely.
Yeah.
Because probably more than I wanted to be a husband, man. I wanted a family. I wanted to be a dad.
Because of what you were lacking growing up.
That was my major pain point.
Yep.
I don't have my daddy. And I remember vividly asking the questions to my mama. She's trying to answer best she can. But feeling away when I saw this and then, I'm like, one day when I get my baby boy, I'm not going to miss anything. So when she told me that, I really got excited, but I also wanted her to know she had my full support regardless of our relationship status. So every gynecologist, I went to the little classes to teach you how to massage her while she on that Pilates ball.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, it's game time. I bought books, but we had not sealed up the relationship exactly. So some time passed, and I think we had a little argument where she was like, if you don't be with me or something like that,
I'm not gonna let you marry your kid.
I'm gonna take the baby off the grid.
Yep.
Oh, look, Danae, that's some manipulation tactics, girl. And you're holding a baby as collateral and making a baby, weaponizing a child, it never ends well. That's why she was in this situation. And I'm not saying that it's her fault that he carried on the way that he carried on. However, he showed her all the telltale signs that he wasn't shit. She had a baby to try to keep him. That's what all that was. You threatened to keep him out of the kid's life. Girl, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Because now you stuck being a single mom. And he get to go on vacations. He out in Miami with whoever. Got a penthouse or a condo or wherever, doing whatever. And you in a house with the kids. See, it don't give that. It don't give that.
And it shook me until I had to talk about that again because my mind is, oh, she would never do something like that.
Yep.
But she was like, oh, I was just upset.
I'm going to take the baby, move with my mom.
Yeah, but she said, I'll be off the grid where you can never even reach me. And I was like, okay, I never heard that before. But anyway, fast forward, it stuck with me, even though she said, I was just talking, I was just upset, my pregnancy emotions. But I also, whenever she had found all that stuff, the videos and stuff, I was just like, man, you got to tighten up. You can't be on this. I don't like the example I'm about to set. At this point, I'm in my career. I'm talking about family values. So I was like, all right, time to cut the whole phase short, time to lock in. And I made my mind up like I'm going to propose to her. I'm going to give her some time to heal everything or whatever. But New Year's Eve, I planned it all out, started paying for the ring. I'm like, it's game time.
Why? Why'd you decide to marry her? What? Because at that point, was it led because of the pregnancy? Was it led out of true love for this woman? Is it led for, like, what initiated and made you say, this is my world that I'm in. I have this platform where I'm sharing this. I have this child coming, but I want to go ahead and marry this woman.
The platform impact was the least of it.
I don't believe him. I don't believe it. Being a married man, having a child out of wedlock, all of those things absolutely played a part in his image. He absolutely was thinking about protecting his image, because how could you be Derrick D. Jaxn out here telling women they don't need to out here telling women don't settle, don't take this, don't take that, and then you're going to have a baby out of wedlock? That was a career move.
Her in that time, even though she was pregnant, she actually was helping me with work a lot. My business was picking up, going crazy. This is the first time, I think it was the first year I made 7 figures, and I'm in my 20s or whatever. And I'm like, I can trust her.
Yeah.
She was with me when I was broke, whatever. It didn't happen over the years, but at least I know she doesn't want me for my money.
Yep.
And she's carrying my baby while helping me at work. If we can make the relationship work, I want to try. And this time, knowing what I know, because now I'm teaching the masses, I'm like, I know how I need to come. I need to secure her in terms of my intentions. Then that's where the marriage part comes in.
Yep.
So she knows I'm not playing no games. I got now the financial pieces there. So she already ain't working, but before Soft Life was cool, I was like, I don't want her to have to worry about anything financially.
Yep, she said that. She
I'm
said
all
that
in.
Financially, she was.
I respect that. However, when sis came out and said that her phone was off because she couldn't pay the bill, she didn't know where the money was going, that was some BS. I'm sorry, because men absolutely will financially abuse you. Just because they paying everything does not mean that, you know, they ain't financially abusive. Because I'm sorry, why she don't have her own bank account? And she was working for him. This is one thing that I do not hear him saying. Danae was working for him, y'all. Why he not mentioning this? Unless he didn't mention it yet. She should have had her own check. She should have had her own account. She should have been an employee underneath your business because she was actively working for you, helping to book you for speaking gigs, helping you to write your novels, helping you with branding. She literally worked for you, bro.
It was good.
Yeah, financially, because, you know, another pain point was I saw my mama struggling. And I always felt like if a man was here, she wouldn't be, you know, how she is, tired all the time and gone all the time. So two things I knew I wanted to do. I wanted to be a present father, and I wanted to take some weight off of my lady's shoulders. And from there, I was like, whatever. I think if I come in and I do my part, the rest is going to fall into place. But it don't work like that. I see, and I had to learn this in therapy, man. Like, as much as we know we cultivate a version of a woman, she exists outside of us.
Oh, of course.
Well, it's easy to say that,
yeah.
But then when you in it and you know that you're doing this, and this, because it wasn't just financial. If she called me at any time, I don't care. If she wanted me to run to a place and get her some food at 1 or 2 in the morning, it's like whatever. And I'm sitting there billing that into, that's going to produce a certain version of her. But I
feel like he was only treating her this way while she was with child. I don't know that he was as doting and as loving and as caring and as considerate and as nurturing when she wasn't carrying his seed, his child.
Mindset didn't allow her to experience remaining trust issues with me, postpartum depression.
Oh yeah,
all of these different things they ain't got nothing to do with how I'm treating her.
Right.
So without considering that, man, I personalized everything going into even the engagement and on forward, man. So yeah, that was my thinking. Like, we gonna make this work no matter what. But we still had not properly set the foundation, reset it from all of the years past.
And when you decide to marry her, you made up in your mind, I am done with all these women. This is my wife. I'm going to be an honest man that covers my wife properly.
When I made up to just get engaged with her, I had burnt all the bridges.
Oh, you did?
But the thing was, with me, my boundaries were loose at best.
So boundaries I had bad boundaries when I was married. So I just want to hear what you consider a bad boundary.
So I may have a woman that I slept with before, even in our singleness. I may have a woman.
Guys, please, I want all of your comments to be shown. The Google moderator is holding it because y'all spelling out the curse words the way they spelled. Like, put an asterisk or exclamation or, you know, do something, spell it, misspell it, okay?
And I have sexual history with before, and I have no problem carrying on small talk. That's one boundary.
Right.
Going out where I knew somebody else was going to be there, that's a loose boundary. It's like, you know, somebody that you had sexual history with is at this place. There was one situation where a girl that I had some sexual history with, she did some work down in Atlanta, so she was flying in way before she had asked me to like give her some books or something like that. And I kept that commitment to meet up with her and give her books instead of telling her, like, you know, or just telling her, no, things have changed since the last time. So these are the types of things.
Really, to give her some books, get the y'all.
Things that I didn't notice until way later, Danae would see or have whatever and have problem with.
Of course. Because
even if a girl is hitting me up saying, D, you know, my mom loves your stuff. My colleague, you know, is a fan of yours. And I reply like, oh man, thanks. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate that. You know, hope everything is well. Danae sees that at the corner of her eye, or when she goes to my phone and says he's talking to women.
Yeah.
So for somebody who hasn't healed, it's triggering all over again. But in my mind, I ain't smashing these women. For any woman that I'm even having a loose boundary with, I'm curving women 10 times more.
Wait, I need to ask y'all. So when y'all get in a relationship with a man, right? First of all, shouts out to 130 of y'all up in the chat. Make sure you pay the fucking entry fee to my house. It's free $99. Hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. Don't play with me. Play with your mama. I love me a looky Lou because I like a click in the view, but I'm also trying to get up in this algorithm and get my motherfucking coin. Okay. So, do y'all feel like if you're in a relationship with a man, is it okay for him to still be friends with somebody that he had a sexual history with? What y'all think? I want to know. Oh, we got to do the numbers because that makes it easy. Okay. 1, yes, it's okay. 2, it's not. 1, it's okay for your man to still be friends and hanging out with someone he has a sexual past with. 2, it's not okay. Well, I want to know what y'all think. Sorry. 2, so it's not okay. Okay, so y'all saying it's not okay. It's not okay. Okay. 1. Oh, so Kuchen says 1, but it depends. Lanicia said 1. Is he just rearranging her interview to fit him? 2. Majority of y'all are saying no, it's not okay. But men will still do it. 2. 1, it's okay because I'm going to do the same. Ooh. But then it's like, who wants to be in a relationship where we got to do tit for tat? I'm kind of past that phase too. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, you played in my face, so I'm about to play in your face. Like, I don't want to do that. Nah, because you trying to keep her in the background too. Okay, so a lot of y'all are saying no. Because a lot of men will be like, oh, I don't want her no more. Hey, Cynthia G. Cynthia said nobody. Nobody. People will be like, oh, I don't want her no more. We not hitting the skins no more. It's not even like that. 1, because they'll still do it or not, and not tell you. Okay. 2, so that's toxic. I'm not going to stop talking to my male friends, period. But your male friends that you used to have sex with, like, I'm trying to understand. We can be together and live in separate houses, but she still might want you. This is what I'm saying. Like, if it was good, you're going to always have some type of sexual tension with that person. Like, I don't really feel like I don't know. If you had sex maybe once and it was like a one-night stand and y'all was drunk or something and it was years and years ago, then maybe you don't have those feelings for that person anymore. But for the most part, I don't think I like that. Like, why do you need to be friends with this bitch? Like, what is y'all being friends for? If I got to cheat back, I'm probably just that part. Like, it does not give, let me get my lick back. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. No. Go on about your day. It doesn't matter anyway. A man that wants to cheat, he will. I feel the same way, but all right, this is how I look at cheating for the most part, right? A lot of men, and this is why I feel like, moving forward, all of us need to deal with men that are emotionally and mentally stable, people that have discipline, people that have a sense of self, because these men out here, they just be digging and dodging. You get what I'm saying? But if you with somebody that's disciplined and he not out here in the streets and he got bougie dick, like he ain't just digging and dodging with everybody, then that person you can trust a little more. But the average man, and this is not me blaming a woman, I'm not, but I feel like if you are leaving the door open, a lot of women don't have morale. A lot of women don't have proof. And a lot of women, they want to compete. So if your man is leaving the door open for me and I want to throw him some coochie, I'm going to do it, even if it's just to spite you. People do shit like that. Granted, it's up to your man to not do it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, we all need to be mindful of dealing with men who are evolved in those areas that I named, because a lot of men don't have the discipline. And that's unfortunate. I just feel like also women are territorial, and sometimes even if your man is not going to hit the skins with her no more, she still might not know her place or respect your boundaries. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I wouldn't do it. I'm sorry. I don't want you. Yeah, I'm not competing for no man. That part, Cynthia. Me either. Take my ass to Petco. Give me 25 cats, because I don't give a damn. I'm not doing it. It don't give that.
So on into engagement, that was the first time I was like, okay, I don't know if I can do this. Because at this point, man, I done got her books. I got a therapist because I'm not getting the version of her I think I'm supposed to get. I'm faithful. Man. I'm provisional. I'm still asking about what we can do to fill up her love tank, but she's hostile. She's closed off. At times, she's emasculating with how
you done drug her through the mud. You probably gave her all type of STIs. Ooh.
She talks. Of course, the sex is not even close to being there. And then she said, well, we need to go to counseling.
That's why I'm glad you went right there. And then what happened in counseling? Because that's where she said she revealed, this is before y'all got married, right? And this is where she revealed I had been raped before, right? In this counseling session, that this happened. When did she mention that she has saw stuff and
everything? And it's not enough. And I'm hurt by that. But then whenever you feel upset, now you're ready to save the relationship. So I was reluctant at first, I ain't gonna lie. But I'm like, I'm engaged now. We got a little baby. Let's do this. Let's go to
was already
counseling.
born at this point?
Yeah, Marley's already there. She was there like maybe 8 months old. She was very young. And then the counselor, and this was kind of really made it tough for me to continue on, he immediately went into rescuer mode. Danae is a lot better at accessing her emotions, especially painful emotions, than I ever have been. So me and her together, I'm big and I'm extroverted. I can talk a little bit. She's a soft voice and, just looked like she just been held in a basement or something like that. So we going and talking, and immediately she goes in about all the hard things I had done in the previous relationship. So me, ignorant, I never considered all the previous, because I'm like, hold on, in between time we was single, you've been dating.
Yeah.
I'm thinking especially because she got her lick back.
Yeah.
She got her lick back.
She did not get her lick back. Like, come on, that one guy that she made up, she was doing something with compared to the 2,500 women you had in and out, digging and dodging with every goddamn body with a hole and a slit in between their legs, making her pass by women while you going, what? Condoms and all this all over the place. What? Oh my God.
And I mean, call me what you want, bro. I still feel to an extent. Once you get your lick back and you even the score.
That was not even. And you said that early on. You said it wasn't even like a smidget compared to what the hell I did. So it was easy for me to give. Now, forgive. It was easy for you to forgive. But now you sit up here saying she got her lick back. Sir.
I don't want to. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like you went and one of the guys, and I don't know if she slept with him or nothing like that, but it was one of my homies. She knowingly did this. I did that to make you upset. She went for guitar lessons and learned everything she needed to know in one night. But I was like, okay, well, my chest hurt just like your chest.
Learned everything you need to know in one night.
But I'm like, you wasn't bad for doing that. Anybody would be, first off, on timing. Then secondly, to make me, you know what I'm saying? My chest hurt just like hers did.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So when we in this counseling session, back to here, 2017, she going in and I'm in the present of all the things I've been doing. It's the first time I've come this hard for the relationship ever. And, financial aspect and the security. Got down on one knee. I can't do no more than what I've done. But she talking about me like I'm a dog. And the only thing
you are. It's the delusion
that exists is all the negatives. I ain't done a single positive, So he not only allowed her to say that, he said, now you got this hard voice with me already. I ain't even said nothing. You don't say a word. Not until y'all come back on another session. So it was tough because I'm like, man, my feelings are obsolete the moment that she talked. And she crying and everything. So I get it. But I'm like, man, this ain't it for somebody who already deals with shame, wounds, abandonment, all this other stuff. We did do like one more session. And in that time, I found out she was texting a personal trainer under a woman's name. She had been searching them on Facebook. She had lied about some other stuff. So after that, bro, and she went and said some things that weren't true in the counseling. I didn't even want to go no more.
You just say, I'm not going.
No, because I felt like, you're not even approaching this genuinely. And at this point, I was questioning if I wanted to go through with the marriage.
I was about to ask you. So y'all still, but you didn't.
So why did you continue to go through with it and give her the shut up bitch ring? Is it because you didn't want to be put on child support? Is it because you didn't want a scandal that was going to tarnish your brand and put a little smear on how everybody perceived you? Because I swear for God, I did not know that this man was in a relationship. All the years I had been seeing him before she just came out with that bonnet of salvation, I did not know that he was in a relationship. I just feel like all of this was, for the brand and for the look. That's the only thing I can come up with.
In the engagement.
Didn't end anything. A big repetitive pattern of I'm pissed, I'm detached, I'm mentally checking out, I'm going to show up as a worse version of myself, but I ain't letting you go. So that's a little bit of ego. It's a little bit of abandonment wounds, whatever you want to call it. We both didn't let each other go, no matter how much we was detaching.
That's interesting. I want to stop part one right here because.
Okay, so we're going to stop right there, and we could do another watch party tomorrow for part 2. Let me see what y'all saying. I'm going to try to watch it beforehand so I could have, timestamps so we don't have to I mean, I did pretty good, like skipping through to other parts because I really didn't know what I was skipping past. But I feel like I did. It wasn't that bad. So let me see what y'all saying. Girl, nobody knew that part, Miss Diggy, because I was so confused when he came out and said this was my wife. I was like, sir, what? He the worst. No accountability. It was my mama fault, my daddy's fault, her fault, the kids' fault, the children, the cat fault, the dog fault, everybody's fault but his. She didn't want to touch me. She didn't want to talk, so I went out and started digging and dodging. Ghetto toxic circus. Love Jones, Miss Molly, Miss Cynthia G. Thank you for putting a smile on my face and uplifting me today. Because of you, lovely young ladies, you make me thank God for being single. Oh, well, I'm glad to be a part of the Put a Smile on Your Face crew. I mean, at the end of the day, like I always say, I'm not divested. I'm not against love, because if I pop out with a husband and a kid, that's my motherfucking business. However, y'all will have to absolutely know that I did the best I could with making sure he wasn't a scrub the ground ass ninja. But you never know until you know. So at least I know I'm going to be able to stick my hand deep down in his pocket if things don't go right. That's the only thing we can guarantee. I'm going to stick my hand way deep down in that pocket if things don't work out. So he got to have something for me to pull out when I stick it in. Y'all picking up what I'm putting down? That part. He a liar. I believe, yes, that's what I think so too. I don't believe a word he said. Talking about, I used to beg her to talk to me. I used to beg her to open up. No, you didn't. That woman was crying in the closet, wishing that you would care, wishing that you would notice her, wishing that you would see that she was, wishing that you saw her. You never even really saw her because you didn't give a damn. I will never tell anyone about me being married. You married? Oh, shit. Now I'm saying I gotta be inspired to that. Like, you got to be like somebody special for me to like say yes if you ask. I'm not against it. I think love could be beautiful, but we can't be out here scrubbing the ground and looking crazy. And I'm over us looking crazy. Enough of that. We done been to the ghetto toxic circus enough. We got to stand the fuck up and keep it moving. And open your options. Don't be afraid of talking to Keegan and them. They cute too. And then they be lying and saying that they got little dicks. They don't. They don't. I swear, Melanin Richmond swear they the only one with a nice dick, and that's not true. It's a lie. It's a scam. It's a scam. I don't think anyone can. I don't think we can blame anyone but our own selves. Yeah. But a lot of men, they scam you. They lie. They put their best foot forward. We meet the representatives. So you really don't know until you know. And that's why I said, like, at least we got to have, some things that's non-negotiable. You got to have a job. You got to have some cash. I need to be able to stick my hand deep in your pocket if shit don't work. You can't have a bunch of crazy baggage. Like, we just got a prenuptial is needed. Okay. Find an Irishman. All right. You selling your tickets. All right, I'm about to skedaddle. I love y'all dearly. I may come back again. If not, I will absolutely see you guys mañana so we could look into part 2 of this. Show up as her, be her. Don't let nobody play in your face. You absolutely got this. You can do it. Let me pull a card for y'all right quick since we haven't done this in a while. We're going to pull a card. She worked in the medical field and was from Atlanta. Some other races are well endowed. They be lying, making it seem like Melanin Richmond is the only motherfuckers with a big dick. That's a lie. That is a lie. So the secret to being a good human is learning not to take your shit out on others. Okay, learning to shut the fuck up is a life-changing skill. There is a time and a place to express your feelings, but that's usually after you've taken some deep breaths, maybe like a million of them. Once you figured out what the difference is between your shit, their shit, and just that shit that happened, not every emotion deserves an action. Sometimes you just gotta feel shit, take notes, and let it move through you. If you're speaking when agitated or afraid, you're usually taking your shit out on others. Harming someone else will never make you feel better. It just fucking won't. The secret to being a good human is learning not to take your shit out on other people. I will show y'all up close, but I need to get my damn nails done. I need to go to the nail salon. I really do. I really need to go. We'll see if I feel like doing that tomorrow. At least my toes is done. You can't heal a wound by saying it's not there. That's a good one. Some injuries you really can walk off, but too many of us run around treating emotional compound fractures like a stub pinky toe. They ain't the same thing, love. If you ignore the big ouches, they fester and get gangrene and give us permanent limps and shit. Do you have a big ouch that needs tending? Naming it is the first step in healing it. Maybe your wounds need some professional help. Don't do the gangrene, amputation thing. Ooh, like that's so 2016. Oh my God. Pay attention to whatever it is and do what you need to do to get the help that you need. Don't act like it ain't there. Sometimes crushing it means asking for help. Wow. Only fools or suckers think that they can do it all on their own. Ask for help, then take the help. Let other people be a part of your success. Don't be stingy about letting people share in whatever kick-assery you create. Every real baller has a crew. I love this one. Also, you don't know everything. That's just a fact. I really, really love that one. I've had struggles with help, like accepting help. But now I'm inviting my crew, my team, my helpmates, and I got a few, and I'm really, really grateful for them. I love them dearly. Shouts out to someone sent me a cash app. Monique, thanks, boo. I don't know if that's your name on here, but thank you for the cash app. I appreciate you, and I appreciate all of your guys' support. I love y'all dearly. Once again, show up as her, be her. Show up as him, be him. Don't let nobody play in your face. You got this. You can do it. You have arrived. You are a motherfucking superstar. Don't let nobody tell you nothing different, all right? Spread love. It's the Brooklyn way. Bye, love bugs. Oh, and make sure you share that other video about what happened to those girls at the bowling alley, because we really need to spread that message. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch it.